Think about any high-stakes job, but especially medicine. The pace of change is just relentless, isn't it? New research, new treatments, new tech, it's always evolving. So for the professionals on the front lines, the biggest challenge isn't just doing their job. It's constantly, and I mean constantly mastering.
So that begs the question, right? How do doctors actually stay on the cutting edge? How do they make sure that the care they're giving you today is way better than the care they gave yesterday? It's a huge puzzle of continuous, lifelong learning.
Well, for one group of specialists, rheumatologists, the doctors who deal with arthritis and other diseases of the joints, muscles, and bones, there's a really powerful answer. It's an event called the Congress of Clinical Rheumatology, or CCR for short. And in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how it all works.
All right, so first up, what is this thing? It calls itself America's Premier Rheumatology Symposium, which is a big claim. So let's unpack that identity.
First off, let's talk about its history. The CCR has been around since 1983. That's over 4 decades of connecting doctors with the absolute latest clinical knowledge. Yeah, this isn't some pop-up conference. It's basically a cornerstone of the entire field.
And we're talking about some serious, intensive learning here. In just one event, a doctor can earn over 25 hours of what's called continuing medical education, or CME credits. For any doctor, that is a huge chunk of the learning they need to do to keep their license and stay certified. It's a big deal.
So when you boil it all down, the CCR sees itself as a real destination. It's not just about sitting through talks. It's a central hub for 3 crucial things: getting that cutting-edge education, finding practical insights you can actually use, and making vital connections with your peers.
Okay, that brings us to the why. We get what it is, but what's the real value here? I mean, why would these incredibly busy professionals from all over the world carve out time for this specific event?
Well, it really comes down to 4 key things. It all starts with the speakers. We're talking world-renowned experts, the people doctors usually only get to read about. Then there's the agenda itself. It is relentlessly practical, focusing on stuff they can take back to the clinic on Monday morning. Third, it's about genuine networking, creating a space where doctors can collaborate, which ultimately leads to better care for patients. And let's be honest, the stunning location helps, letting them step away from the daily grind and really soak it all in.
Next up, let's talk about the who. Because let's be real, a conference is only as good as the people on stage, right? And this is where CCR, wow, it really shines. Just think about the names we're talking about here. You've got faculty from Harvard, Stanford, the Cleveland Clinic. The list goes on. These aren't just experts. These are the people who are literally writing the textbooks and pioneering the breakthrough research. It's a convergence of the best minds.
And just look at the kind of stuff they're tackling. You don't have to be a doctor to know these aren't your everyday run-of-the-mill topics. We're talking about incredibly complex conditions like lupus nephritis or other rare autoimmune diseases. These sessions give clinicians the high-level, practical info they need for their absolute toughest cases.
And it gets super specific, too, digging into these real-world scenarios that, just don't have easy textbook answers. Like, how do you manage treatment for a patient with a rheumatic disease who's also pregnant? Or how do you take a more holistic view of chronic pain? They provide these little gems of wisdom, diagnostic pearls, they call them, that can completely change how you approach a case.
But having great speakers and topics is one thing. The real question is, how do they deliver all this info? This isn't just about sitting in a dark room watching slides. CCR is all about moving from passive listening to active, hands-on engagement.
And this is so cool. Check out these 2 really unique formats. On one hand, you've got something called the Thieves Market. Here, doctors present their most baffling cases, their stumpers, with the goal of trying to, stump a panel of world-class experts. It's like a high-energy diagnostic showdown. Then you have poster rounding, where young researchers get detailed, face-to-face feedback on their work from seasoned pros in a small group. It's all about interaction.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing, right? But here's the million-dollar question. Does it actually work? Does going to this conference actually make for better doctors? And more importantly, better outcomes for patients? Let's get to the proof.
This is where the rubber meets the road. Get this. A staggering 94% of the doctors who go report making real, positive changes in how they practice medicine because of what they learned. That's not just a nice feeling. That is a massive,
real-world impact. And if you want cold, hard data, here it is. Look at this chart. It shows knowledge test scores. Before the conference, the average score was down around 37%. After the conference, it shot up to over 87%. That's not just a little bump. That is a truly transformative leap in knowledge, what experts call a high gain. And it's not just about the numbers. You see it in what the doctors themselves have to say. Listen to this from Dr. Alan Morton, a guy with over 40 years in practice. He said that out of all the meetings he's ever been to, he enjoyed and learned more at CCR. When a veteran with that much experience says something is the best, you know it's something special.
So, what we see here with the Congress of Clinical Rheumatology is a blueprint, really. It's a model for how to combine top experts, practical learning, and active engagement to produce proven results. It shows how one field relentlessly chases excellence. And it makes you wonder, right? If this is what it takes for one profession to stay at the absolute top of its game, what does it take to truly master yours?